the offering of your conscious resolution. So anytime that you want to manifest anything in your life, you will set the sankalpa. And when you offer the sankalpa chanting to Devi Parashakti herself, she will pour her energy, her blessings into your conscious resolution. The offering of the sankalpa blesses the person offering with all the fruition of all the desires and wishes that they are yearning for. And it is stated that the goddess enchants the universe and she herself gives birth to the universe. That goddess being prayed to without any interest in anything gives the knowledge that leads to salvation and gives wealth in the materialistic sense. And so if you want to offer your prayers to Devi Parashakti and receive the blessing of all the knowledge and wealth that you want, you can offer the Sankalpa chanting to Devi Parashakti. And the next offering is the Sahasranama Swarna Coffee, which is the gold coin inscribed with the various names of Devi. And Devi is known as Nama Parayana Prita, she who likes the repetition of her various names. And these names are not just names of Devi, but the various aspects and qualities that Devi has, whether it is her overflowing compassion, her motherliness, her beauty, whatever it may be, all of these various aspects of Devi, by offering these gold coins, you will be able to experience these various aspects of Devi herself in your life. And this is the offering of the 1008 names of Devi Parashakti. It is a very special and unique archana that is offered to the Mahameru of Devi Parashakti. And you can offer a gold coin inscribed with each one of the 1008 names of Devi and receive the blessing to have all of the Ananta Kalyana Gunas, all the auspicious divine qualities of Devi Parashakti. And the next offering is the Mukta Anguti, the finger ring with a pearl. And Devi Meenakshi is known to love pearls. She is known to be adorned always in pearls. And it states that I bow to the goddess Meenakshi, whose crown has garlands of pearls, and the face shining like a full moon, who wears anklets that are studded with gemstones and has small bells, who is shining like the splendor of the lotus, who grants all of the wishes, the daughter of the mountain, who is worshipped by goddess Vani and Rama. I remain ever bowing to that goddess Meenakshi, the ocean of compassion. And Devi Meenakshi is the ocean of compassion. And the pearl is a representation of Devi Meenakshi's compassion. When you offer, especially in all of your business endeavors in your life. So you can offer this Mukta Anguti in the various sizes, the $251 size, the $501 size, and the $750 size. And the next offering is the Swarna Padma Pushpa, the golden lotus. And from the Kamika Agama, it states the significance of the lotus, the golden lotus. All the kalashas should be wound around with the suitable thread and covered with new cloth. They should be adorned with the lotus flower made of gold. So for every ritual that is offered, it is stated that the kalashas in that ritual should be adorned with this golden lotus flower. So there is great significance of this lotus in Hinduism. Go to the next. There are hundreds of scriptural references for using the lotus in the worship of Paramashivoham. Almost everything in worship of the ultimate involves the consecration of deities of worship or meditating on, or the mudras and the asanas used during worship all involve the lotus flower, the lotus leaf, the lotus pericarp, the lotus petal. The lotus is a divine flower, and the Shakti of Paramashiva is considered to be a lotus, and the base of Paramashiva Linga is a lotus, and the disciple of Paramashiva is also considered as a lotus about to bloom. So you can offer the golden lotus in any size that you wish and be blessed to have the state, the space, the powers, and the being of Devi in your inner space amidst any and every adverse situation in your life. And the next offering is the Sarnamekti, the gold toe ring. And Devi's feet have great significance for the devotee. It stated, "You whose brightness from the nails destroy the darkness of ignorance from the minds of your devotees who prostrate at your feet. You whose brightness from your 2 feet overpower that of the lotus." And so baby's feet are known to remove ignorance from the minds of devotees. So by offering these Varnameti, the gold toe ring to Devi, you will be blessed with removing all of the ignorance from your life. So you can offer the toe ring to Devi, and these will adorn her sacred feet, and you will be blessed with gratitude and receive the blessings to remove all of the difficult situations and aspects of your life. And the next offering is the Sarna Mantika, the gold hairline jewelry. And the Mantika represents the nectar flowing from the Sahasrara Chakra, which is fully open. And it's stated, she who makes the nectar flow in all of our nerves from the Sahasrara, she who gives the very pleasant experience of the ultimate. So you can offer this Mantika and literally open all of your chakras all the way to your Sahasrara chakra and experience that blissful state of Devi Parashakti herself. And so you can offer this Mantika to Devi and receive the blessing of achieving the blissful state of overflowing gratitude and the space of complete completion. And the next offering is the Pratyaksha Pada Puja, the favorite offering of all the disciples and devotees of the Supreme Concept of Hinduism. And it's stated that the illuminating splendor of Devi's toenails dispel the darkness of ignorance in the devotees prostrating at her feet. Her feet, their feet, the lotus in beauty. So Devi's feet are divine, and the Nijavatar of the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, who is manifesting Devi Parashakti, you have the opportunity to offer directly the Pratyaksha Pada Puja to the feet of the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, who is manifesting Devi herself. And in the Saundarya Lahari, it states that the toenails have been sharpened by constantly being touched by the crowns of the celestial beings, and who always prostrate before Devi. The Tamoguna is darkness. In this Stotram, the tamas is indicative of the ignorance in the minds of the devotees. And by constantly prostrating before Devi, their ignorance is removed and they attain knowledge. So you can offer the Pratyaksha Pada Puja with all, and you can receive all the auspiciousness and blessings of Devi manifesting through the Supreme Consciousness. And the next offering is the Vastra Seva. So you can offer the sacred cloth to Devi Parashakti herself. And you will have the blessing of adorning Devi Parashakti in the various cloths in her clothes. And this offering of the Vastra Seva blesses the Yajamana with all of the auspiciousness and blessings of Devi manifesting through the Supreme Consummate Hinduism himself. And so here you can see all of the offerings. And if you would like to offer any of these, you can go to tiny.cc/Devi offerings, which will be projected in the next slide. So you can visit tiny.cc/Devi offerings. And if you would like to immediately go ahead and make your offering and make the payment for your offering, you can visit this website. However, if you are still contemplating, or if you're interested in this offering, but you still need help manifesting this, you can actually fill out your intention form at tiny.cc/Baba Samadhi. So you can fill out this intention form if you need help manifesting your offering, or if you want more details about these various offerings. And once you are ready, you can go ahead and visit tiny.cc/Devi offering. So if I could request the volunteer to open that link, tiny.cc/Devi offering, so we can take the viewers through the walkthrough of how to make their offering. So if I could request the volunteer to open the link, tiny.cc/Devi offering. Thank you so much. Yes. So you can pick out any of the offerings that you would like to make. Say you would like to offer the Pratyakshapada Puja to the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, manifesting Devi Parashakti. You can go ahead and select that in the option. Request the volunteer to select the Pratyakshapada Puja. And so you can go ahead and add that to your cart, and you can add as many as would like to make an offering for your son or your daughter. You can select as many as you want and choose that. And then once you are done down to your cart, and you can proceed to checkout. You can just fill out all of the details and any of the other additional information that you need to fill out. And once you are done, you can go ahead and place your order. And this is just as you would for any other online payment, as many of us are spending most of our time shopping online now. This is a very simple way that we can make our offering to Devi Parashakti. And once you are done with this, you can go back to fill out your Sankalpa form, which is where you can fill out your name and the names of your loved ones to be chanted during offering of this ritual. So you can go to tiny.cc/Sankalpa2021. I could request the volunteer to open the Sankalpa offering. If we can visit tiny.cc/Sankalpa. Sorry about that. I think we went to the wrong link. It's tiny.cc/sankalpa2021. Yeah. So here we have our Sankalpa offering. So you can fill out all of your names and the names of all your family members. So you can make sure that all of your names are chanted during this ritual, during the offering. So you can go ahead and fill this out, and this will ensure that your names are chanted, and you can fill out all of your nakshatra and your gotra details if you have those. If you don't, that is also okay. Your names will certainly still be chanted. And so once you are done with this, you have completed your offering, and you will receive all of the divine blessings and grace of Devi and the Supreme Concept of Hinduism. So with this, we will be concluding this portion of the program, and we will be entering into the next part of the program, which is the segment where the administrators of Adi Kailasa will be taking us through all of the various opportunities and programs that have been opened up in Adi Kailasa for the COVID care. So we will be, we can stop the screen share. Thank you so much, Ma. So yes, we will be entering into the next segment very shortly, where we will understand some of the various programs and activities that have been going on in Adi Kailasa Satyajnana, where the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has opened up all of the Kailasas in India for the sake of this multi-layer quarantine. And as the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has continuously been stating, the most important priority for you this year is to protect your life. And so the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has opened up the opportunity to quarantine at one of the Kailasas in India with multi-layer quarantine. So if you would like to avail this opportunity today, you can visit kailasa.org/kailasacare and protect yourself, protect your family, and avail the opportunity to have multi-layer quarantine. So we will have the administrators coming shortly to share about this with us. So we'll be right back with that segment. Yes. So as we wait, let us understand how the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has been continuously blessing us through the manifestation of Devi Parashakti. We have been blessed continuously every day with the answering of all of our prayers and all of our requests directly answered by the Supreme Concept of Hinduism. And so if you would like to ask any of your questions or ask any of your prayers, you can go ahead and ask any of these questions on the live YouTube comments every time that the Supreme Concept of Hinduism is manifesting Devi Parashakti. You can go ahead and ask any of your questions, and you can also ask your questions on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp as well. So with this, we will be concluding the segment and have a very short break before we enter into the next segment.
Yes, don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive, somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashivoham will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is e-Kailasa.
Nithyanandam everyone, welcome back. With the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, we'll be learning Kailasa's multi-layered quarantine opportunity for India during COVID-19 as a practical solution resulting in health, joy and bliss. So, Kailasa's Department of Enlightened Civilization presents. Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramashivoham Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrusham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Triguna Rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Yes. So on 31st May 2021, Devi Parashakti revealed about the Krimi Bhojanam, that means the eaten up by the worms. Devi practically warned how the COVID-19 pandemic is literally eaten up by the humanity. So just listen, this clip is in Tamil, and then we will be doing the translation of this clip.
நீ சொல்லும் நபர்கள் போடும் சண்டை சச்சரவெல்லாம் சண்டை போன்றது. யார் சரி யார் தவறு என்பது இப்பொழுது முக்கியம் அல்ல. நன்மையைச் சொல்லுகின்றேன், உண்மையைச் சொல்லுகின்றேன். இந்திய நாட்டில் இருக்கும் மக்கள் எல்லோரும் கேளுங்கள். கருட புராணத்தில் வியாசன் சொன்ன கிருமி போஜனம் என்னும் நரகம் திறந்து நேரடியாய் இந்தியா மீது இடிபோல் விழுகின்றது. ஆதி கைலாசத்திற்கு ஓடிச் சென்று வருமுன் காத்துக்கொள்வது மட்டுமே ஒரே வழி. கொரோனா பெருந்தொற்று கொள்ளை நோய் கிருமி போஜனம் எனும் நரகத்தை பூமிக்கு கொண்டு வந்து விட்டது. அகோர தாண்டவத்தின் ஆட்டம் யாராலும் அடக்க முடியாத அளவிற்கு ஆரம்பித்து விட்டது. புதிதாய் உருக்கொண்டிருக்கும் இந்த நுண்ணுயிரி மயில்கள் கடந்தும் காற்றினில் உயிரோடு இருந்து மற்ற உயிர்களையும் அழித்து உடல்களை தின்னும் பெரும் வலிவு கொண்ட பேரசுரர்களாய் வலம் வரத் துவங்கி விடுகின்றது. நன்றாய் புரிந்து கொள்ளுங்கள். வருமுன் காத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள், அது ஒன்றே வழி. அதற்காகவே ஆதி கைலாசத்தை திறந்து வைத்திருக்கின்றேன். உயிர் காத்துக் கொள்ள வேண்டி விரும்பும் எல்லோரும் ஓடுங்கள் ஆதி கைலாசத்திற்கு. இந்தியாவில்தான் இந்த நரகம் திறந்து உலகெங்கும் பரவப் போகின்றது. கிருமி போஜன நரகம் பூமிக்கு வந்துவிட்டது. மனிதர்கள் செய்த மகா கொடுமைகளினால். அன்னை முன்னின்று என் அடியவரை காப்பேன் சொல்வதை கேட்டு உயிர் காத்துக் கொள்ள விரும்புவோர் வருமுன் காப்பது ஒன்றே வழி என்று தெரிந்து செல்லுங்கள் ஆதி கையிலைக்கு. ஓம் ஓம் ஓம்.
So the translation of what Devi revealed is, everyone in India, all of you listen. The hell of Krimi Bhojanam that was mentioned by Vyasa in Garuda Puranam has happened. And Krimi Bhojanam in the Garuda Purana has opened and is directly falling on India as a thunder, running to Adi Kailasa and protection. The protection by joining the preventive quarantine facilities. From it is the only way deadly corona life-taking disease has brought the hell known as Krimi Bhojanam to earth. The dance of Aghora Thandava, which no one could control, has started. This microorganism that has formed will be alive in air for miles together, destroying other souls. It will eat body. It has started roaming as great demons with the tremendous strength. Understand properly, prevention is the only way. For that I have opened Adi Kailasa. For those who want to save their lives, all of you run to Adi Kailasa. Only in India this hell is going to open and is going to spread to the whole world. The Krimi Bhojanam hell has come to the earth because of the sufferings done by the human. Mother, I will protect those at my feet, those who listen to me and wish to save their lives, learning that prevention is the only way. Go to Adi Kailasa. So what is Krimi Bhojanam? Krimi Bhojanam is the people with one of the 28 hells described in Hindu scriptures, where people are sent to suffer in a pit to be eaten up by the worms. In Garuda, there are various scriptural references for this. In Garuda Purana, one of the chapter, Cosmology of Hell and the Nether Regions, the Devi Bhagavata Purana, chapter 21 on the narrative of hells, and chapter 22 on the narrative of sins leading to hell, and Shiva Purana, chapter 26, uplift from the hells, section 5, and Skanda Purana, chapter 12, redemption from hells, and chapter 2, the merit of visiting Setu, and chapter 30, glory of the Nishkoti. The Brahma Purana, chapter 20, hells in nether regions, and chapter 106, sufferings in hell. The Padma Purana, chapter 48, section on the nether worlds. And you can see the various statistics that of the recorded cases and the widespread corona across the countries. The COVID is air-prone, scientists say. The world now air-prone. Authorities also think so. The scientists are calling for ventilation system to be overhauled, like public water supplies, where they were in the 1800s after fetid pipes were found to harbor cholera. A quiet revolution has permeated global health crisis. Authorities have come to accept what many researchers have argued for over a year. The coronavirus can spread through the air. That new acceptance, Health Organization and the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention comes with a concrete in 1800s after fetid pipes were found to harbor cholera. Cleaner indoor air won't do just fight the pandemic. It will minimize the risk of catching flu and other respiratory infections that cost the US more than $50 billion a year. Researchers said in a study in a journal Science recently, avoiding these germs and their associated sickness and productivity losses would therefore offset the cost of upgrading ventilation and filtration in buildings. According to the Mint, the SARS-CoV-2 virus can travel on the very small particles that disperse quickly outdoors but can build up indoors. These particles can affect people who stay more than 6 feet away. And the hotspots of masks Americans have adopted may provide some COVID protection, but they do not situation safe. Though scientists have been discussing airborne transmission for months, it was only last week that the World Health Organization and the CDE made this official. With the vaccine rollout still in its early days, across the world, these officials should follow up these belated admission with guidance that unvaccinated people can use to minimize their risk. In a letter, what scientists told to the World Health Organization, how does the disease pass from 1 to 39 scientists from 32 countries put their signatures on an open letter that said COVID-19 is also transmitted via aerosols. Titled, "It's time to address the airborne transmission of COVID-19 and address to the World Health Organization, WHO, that they said there was enough evidence to show that viruses are released during the exhalation, talking, and coughing as microdroplets small enough to remain aloft and pose a risk of exposure at a distance beyond 1 to 2 meters from someone who is infected over the 3 feet to 6 feet, are recommended for physical distancing between people to avoid transmission." You can see the various current state reports across the states of India. Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and various other states, Mumbai. In Assam, the Chief Minister of Assam said that home quarantine is the prime reason for large number of deaths during the second wave of COVID-19 transmission in Assam. Assam recently witnessed the maximum number of deaths due to the home quarantine. Mr. Sharma said, "We have seen more death cases happening from home isolation as several people do not keep oximeter and some do not read the count in the meter properly." According to the Economic Times, Maharashtra government recently announced the decision to stop home quarantine in 18 districts, which show higher COVID positivity rate than the state's average. State Public Health Minister Rajesh Tope said that the decision is taken to ensure better healthcare facilities to patients in districts which are showing higher positivity rate. On why home quarantine is impossible for majority of Indians. The reasons are about 41% of households have just a single room, which is shared by about 5 persons. About 41% households in India have just one room or don't have an exclusive living room, and about 5 people share such accommodations. About 32% of households have 2 rooms, and adding to the woes is the fact that only 47% households have access to water within the premises, and 42% don't have a bathing facility within the premises. Self-isolation for COVID-19 is impossible for 40% of Indian families. In order to utilize India's healthcare infrastructure optimally to manage the expanding fallout of coronavirus, the central government on 27th April signaled a change in approach from mandating that every person who tests positive for the virus be moved to isolation beds in dedicated hospital or units. The government allowed home quarantine for those with mild symptoms. The key additional condition was that those their house should allow for self-quarantining. That in India, it's easier than done. According to the census 2011, about 42% of Indian households were living in houses where an average 3 or more people were sharing a room. In the context of coronavirus, this challenge of physical distancing is greater in rural areas, about 45% of households, than in urban ones. 35% of households, only one state, Kerala, is looking relatively dignified on this metric. And all districts reporting at least 250 cases have anywhere between 34% to 54% household averaging 3 or more to a room. In this pandemic crisis, where is the space for home quarantine in cities? In New Delhi, the health ministry last week said that more cases of coronavirus had been asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic and had advised home isolation for such people. It also said that 65% cases across the country were reported from the metros and big cities. However, census data suggests, and experts also agree, that following the ministry's guidelines on the home quarantine is near impossible, particularly in urban households. The guidelines on home quarantine say the person showing COVID-19 symptoms has to remain isolated in a well-ventilated room, preferably with an attached toilet. If another family member needs to stay in the same room, it is advisable to maintain a distance of at least 1 meter between the two, it is stated. So when the first world countries closed their borders during a massive global emergency, Kailasa has opened its doors to all without exception. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals, at least 6 months back, I became aware that multi-layer quarantine is needed to protect people. If you are in India and you want to protect your immediate family or extended family, anyone who will listen to you, get them immediately to our campuses. The free COVID care quarantine centers opened across India are Adi Kailasa in Biddi, Bangalore, Salem Adinam in Tamil Nadu, and Tiruvannamalai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, and Tripuram Adinam, Hyderabad, Madurai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Avattipalam, Erode, and Husur Adinam, both are in Tamil Nadu, and Baroda Adinam in Gujarat. Kailasa rushes to help as India finds itself on the verge of COVID-19 third wave. There are multiple free COVID care centers open across India, and there are various social services in the pandemic and the adhinams. Spiritual services also offered during this pandemic in various Kailasa de facto spiritual centers and cosmic revelation on global pandemic. Free social services offered during the pandemic are the medical care, which includes allopathy, Ayurvedic and Siddha medicine, fire safety equipment maintenance, and infrastructure to accommodate thousands, and accommodation for multi-layered quarantine, emergency ambulances and ICU on wheels, and personal protective medical equipment and groceries collected for Annadan and organic farming. Join COVID care protection centers. Register now through the link below, https://kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now let us see some of the glimpses from Kailasa's Department of Health on COVID protection for Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham. What are the immunity boosters and COVID care? The supplement procurement, including the allopathic immune boosters, the zinconia, vitamin D, and vitamin C. Through Ayurvedic medicine, immunity boosters are being provided to protect all the residents of Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham. Steaming once a day with tulsi, eucalyptus, nochi, and turmeric leaves, and all these herbal leaves are taken from the healing trees here in Adi Kailasa. Twice a week consumption of Kabasura Kundinim, a mixture of pepper, ginger, and clove and other ingredients, extensively aimed for boosting the lungs, improving the respiratory system, and treating infection conditions such as cough, cold, and fever. Neela Vembu Kundinir to be taken once a week, and Agatya Lehyam 5 days, and Talisadi Vatakam 3 to 4 tablets per day for 5 days, and Indugunta Kashayam, the Amrutottara Kashayam, both for 5 days, 1 teaspoon with 50 ml of warm water. Sudarshana Gulika once every 5 days, and gargling with salt and turmeric twice a day, and spiritual routine, that is Panchakriya, Haritaki, castor oil, neem juice, Pratama Vinyasakrama, Trinetra Kumbhaka, and Puja. The basic sanitation and safety practices, which includes but not limited to a disposable of soil pads, infected materials, and the non-biodegradables done through incineration, RO water systems for drinking water, cleansing and sanitization of overhead tanks, regular deweeding, maintenance of repair electrical systems, electrical circuits, communication facilities for safety of the residents, and compost pit filling with biodegradables. Diagnosis, COVID care quarantine methodology, which include but not limited to immediately upon the arrival to the campuses. Occupants will be quarantined for 15 days. Swab test, that is RT-PCR test, to be done on day 5th of the quarantine, and all food handlers to be wearing masks and gloves and keeping distance. A disposable of waste food to be done with the gloves and mask, and disposable of gloves and mask by incineration. In case of emergency, protective kits ready to hand to take a COVID positive patient to hospital. Washing hands as often and thoroughly with soap and water with alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid sharing any items, example that is dishes, drinking glasses, cups, eating utensils, towels, bedding, or other items with other residents in the adhinam. and wear mask protection. Wear a mask at all times when and if exposed to vendors or outside people. Double layer cotton mask should be changed every day up to 24 hours and can be reused after washing with a detergent and sun dried. If it gets wet by saliva, secretions, or sweat, change it and wear a dry mask. The wet mask can be stored in a sealed plastic cover and washed it with a detergent and reused later. The mask protection, you can see it now. A face shield will be provided as an extra protective wear for people at the gate interacting with the vendors, outsiders, and use of hand sanitizer, hand washing, regular steaming, taking of preventive water, gargling and bathing with washing of clothes with history of any exposure. If symptoms appear like cough, fever, difficulty in bathing, he should immediately inform the medical person in charge immediately. The standard operating procedures, the quarantine rules, basically the first line of quarantine in the multi-layered quarantine facilities, people in the first circle who are in contact with vendors, the area of stay confined to the outermost area where communication with the outside is happening with the vendors, etc. And stay in a well-ventilated single room, preferably with an attached and separate toilet. Person should not come into contact with inmates of Adhinam, especially elderly people, pregnant women, children, and persons with comorbidities which have hypertension, diabetics, heart problem, asthma, etc. Restrict his or her movement within the area or room, first line of quarantine. Now, the standard operating procedures for the delivery of packages. All parcels received at the gate should be sanitized, spraying disinfectant. All deliverables will be contactless delivery. Wearing of face coverings and hand gloves are mandatory if contactless delivery is not an option, or request the delivery to be left in a protected and isolated place. The outer packaging of the item product will be disposed before it enters the Adhinam. The packages will be quarantined before being delivered. All the delivery bags, boxes, containers will be thrown away after transferring the items to their respective places. The surfaces of the packages will be cleaned with a simple disinfectant and left to dry. All handling the packaging will be thoroughly washed with soap and water and antibacterial solution frequently. And all mail packaging products, which is non-perishable, will be left outside for 24 hours before using them. The disinfection, which is sodium hypochlorite, bleach, chloride, alcohol will be used 1 teaspoon of bleaching powder in 3 cups. Alcohol at 70 to 90% will also be used for surface disinfection. Clothes to be washed separately with detergent and dried. Sharing of items are strictly prohibited, and this prevents the spread of the virus. There are the standards for warning signs. Fever continues for more than 5 days, and if fever returns in the second week and after having been febrile for a day or 2, fever more than 101 Fahrenheit after day 4, resting heart rate over 110 when there is no activity happening, and breathlessness and tightness in the chest. Oxygen saturation less than 94% or pulse oximeter, then 6-minute walk test, record the saturation rate before and after walking briskly for 6 minutes. If the saturation falls by more than 3%, it is not favorable, and less than 94% is not good too. Relentless cough, that is continuous coughing. You can see the in-campus ambulances. People who come in as newly will be given a separate room with toilet facility. Under no circumstances will they exit the room. The designated quarantine person picks up the food after the person who serves the food is at a safe distance of 6 feet. The food will be placed outside the door. Monitor the temperature, that is pulse rate and oxygen saturation levels once a day and more often if the person is symptomatic. Please speak with the medical team and take paracetamol if the temperature is more than 99% and ensure good hydration and have a nutritious diet and steam inhalation twice daily and salt and turmeric hot water gargling twice daily. And procedures of monitoring the quarantine, it's not Ayurvedic and Siddha medication will be given as per the instructions, and the doctors will be contacted if there is worsening of symptoms for specific management, which could be further consultation, investigations, and treatment. Residents will be asked to continue taking medications if they are on any blood sugar, or hot elements, etc. Doctors will be consulted if comorbid conditions pose a higher risk. Residents on medication will be asked to bring 2 months of supply till the Adhinam is able to organize the medications for them. Residents will be asked to take a deep breath, that is pranayama, lie in prone position, that is lying on the tummy, and as much as possible so the lungs expand well. Then if there are no symptoms, the person will come out of the quarantine after a total of 15 days and the test will not be repeated if clinically well. If there are symptoms, the person will need to be retested and need a medical opinion and necessary investigation and treatment. The common symptoms which will look out for are fever, sore throat, fatigue, or excess tiredness, cough, mostly dry and wet cough. In some cases, body aches, headaches, loose stools, vomiting, loss of sense of smell, and loss of sense of taste, and exhaustion, giddiness, and fainting. Previous mentioned symptoms will be provided with immediate evaluation and hospital care. Early detection of these warning signs and identifying the timeline is very crucial for better outcome. These will be monitored very closely and is the most important thing that needs to be done. Identifying day one official in the management with respect to monitoring and treatment protocols. Day one would be when the very first symptom started. Investigate for the possible source of contact and all the people who have come to 6 feet as well. Infectivity starts 0 to 3 days before the onset of the symptoms, and the infected person sheds the virus till 9 days. Any of the above symptoms in various combinations signals the possibility of COVID. Even though the same symptoms can happen with any viral infection, in a pandemic, it is to be considered as the possible diagnosis until proven otherwise. Rare presentations are known: a rash on body, bluish discoloration of the fingers and toes, sudden onset of breathlessness, heart attack, strokes, paralysis of the limbs, and any suspect case should be immediately isolated. Any of the above symptoms in various combinations signals the possibility of COVID, even though the same symptoms can happen with any viral infection. In a pandemic, it is to be considered as the possible diagnosis until proven otherwise. Rare presentations are known: rash on body, bluish discoloration and fingers and toes, sudden onset of breathlessness, heart attack, strokes, paralysis of the limbs, and any suspect should be immediately RT-PCR test to be asked for a symptomatic people may monitor for symptoms and will get tested if the symptoms show symptomatic, continue to be asymptomatic. They can check their status thereafter. A negative report ensures they can move into the community. Only an assigned member will be tasked with the taking care of the quarantined person. Use the disposable gloves with cleaning the surfaces or handling any soiled linen of individual. Washing of hands after removing gloves. No visitor will be allowed in the vicinity of the quarantined person. In case the person being quarantined becomes asymptomatic, all the close contact taking care will be quarantined for 15 days and followed up with an additional 15 days or till the report of such cases turns out negative on lab testing. Environmental sanitization. Clean and disinfectant frequently touch surfaces in the quarantine person's room, that is example bed frames, tables, etc., and daily with bleach solution. And clean the disinfectant toilet surfaces daily with regular household bleach solution and phenolic disinfectants. And clean the clothes and other linens used by the person separately using a common household detergent and dry. The mandatory requirements are all Adhinavasis coming into the Adhinam must take the following tests. Result to be sent to the doctors here, the doctor team of Dr. Atmananjanamma, Dr. Masantan Lakshmi, and the RN Ma Chandravidya. And the medical test includes the blood test, a complete blood count with peripheral smear, blood group type, fasting and post-prandial blood sugar, renal function test, blood urea and serum creatinine, VDRL, HPSAG, HIV, thyroid function test, serum T3, T4 and TSH, ECG, a liver function test, and a lipid profile test. All these tests to be done and a result to be sent to the email ID here, one of the doctors, and also please get your RT-PCR test for COVID-19 taken 2 days before coming into the Adhinam and send it to the previous mentioned email addresses to get clearance. The medical team will communicate to the admin of the respective Adhinam with regards to the medical status and approval status. Once communicated, the person should come into the Adhinam within 24 to 48 hours of the test. If there are any pre-existing medical issues like hypertension, diabetics, or other chronic diseases and comorbid situations, please bring in a recent reports and the prescription from the attending doctor. A medical form will need to be filled in by all the new occupants. A legal disclaimer will also be required to be signed. All the people in quarantine will be monitored for temperature rise, oxygen status, and other symptoms during the period of quarantine. Anyone with symptoms should be reported immediately, and the designated quarantine person will be responsible to monitor the pulse oximeter and temperature daily. The equipment should be sanitized after every use, and knowledge for the same will be given to the medical team. The report of these recordings will be reviewed by the medical team daily. During the quarantine period, a certain Ayurvedic and Siddha preparation, steaming, saline and turmeric water gargle, and other immune boosters will be given by the caregivers, which has to be followed strictly. After 15 days, they can be out of quarantine. Please follow these basic guidelines of living in the Adhinam, some of which are listed below. Smoking, drinking, drugs, substance abuse is strictly prohibited. Consumption of non-vegetarian food is strictly prohibited. And illicit sex is strictly prohibited. And please follow the basic etiquette like traditional Indian clothing, personal environmental cleanliness, and hygiene. The following measures will help prevent the spread of infections in the Adhinam, such as colds, flu, and stomach bugs, and protect these. Make sure workplaces are clean and hygienic. Surfaces, example that is desks, tables, etc., and objects such as telephones, keyboards need to be wiped with disinfectant and regularly to prevent. Promote regular and thorough hand washing by Adinavasis, and please keep sanitizing hand rub dispensers in the prominent places around the workplace. Make sure these dispensers are regularly refilled. Display posters promoting hand washing. Washing kills the viruses on your hands and prevents the spread of infection. Promote good respiratory hygiene in the workplace. Display posters promoting respiratory hygiene. Good respiratory hygiene prevents the spread of the infection. Anyone with even mild cough or low-grade fever, which is 37.3 Celsius or more, needs to be monitored by health personnel with isolation, even if symptoms are mild. They should wear ordinary surgical face masks rather than N95 masks in their quarantine room. Medications such as paracetamol and ibuprofen or aspirin may mask symptoms of infection. Ensure and pre-order sufficient supplies and materials, including masks, tissues, and hand sanitizer for all the people. The travel precautions include the travel outside the Adhinam in case of emergency must be discussed with the medical department. No one is leave the premises without approval. The plan of action when someone is infected with COVID-19. The plan should cover putting the ill person in an area where they are isolated from others. Local health authorities will be notified. Medical team have a working relationship with a good hospital for any medical emergency. Please note down emergency contact numbers of the hospitals where you may have to shift people to. All the medical team members and the admins will have it with them for immediate reference. You can see the oxygen concentrator in case of emergencies. So with the micromanagement of the care of these medical services, other precautionary measures in the Kailasa's de facto spiritual centers. So join now and save, protect your life. Join the COVID protection centers, which are Kailasa de facto spiritual embassies. Register now through the link below, https://kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now, what are the other areas like Annadan and how the Kailasa de facto spiritual embassies are working towards the removing the hunger? So let's understand this aspect of this. So these multi-layer quarantine COVID care production centers at the de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa, how the Annadan is provided and what is the need for Annadan. Let's understand. In the world today, as we know, COVID-19 is creating a hunger catastrophe in India. The pandemic has led to increase in the global food insecurity affecting vulnerable households in almost every country. It has exacerbated existing inequalities, pushing millions of people into the vicious cycles of economic stagnation, loss of livelihood, and worsening of food insecurity. The World Bank estimates that 71 million people will be pushed into extreme poverty across the globe as a result of the pandemic. The World Food Program estimates that an additional 130 million people could fall into the category of food insecure over and above 820 million who were classified as such by the 2019 State of Food Insecurity in the World Report. Hunger in plain sight. COVID-19 worsens the plight of food insecurity. More than 50 million people have experienced food insecurity during the pandemic, up from 35 million in 2019, according to the Feeding America nonprofit, the nation's largest domestic hunger relief organization. Child malnutrition and hunger skyrocket in Haiti as COVID-19 infections spike. At least 86,000 children are at risk of developing a severe acute child malnutrition this year has doubled as the impoverished nation continue to grapple with extraordinary political and social crisis exacerbated by the pandemic. Refugees are paying the highest price in the COVID-19 pandemic. Vulnerable groups such as refugees are paying the highest price in the COVID-19 pandemic. We are seeing the alarming trends that show many refugees around the world are unable to pay for food or rent and are struggling to access healthcare and education. Price hikes in local markets and further development caused by the campfires and have pushed many families further into food insecurity. During the April and May, around 30,000 refugees in the Cox's Bazar camps raised questions and concerns, with 63% seeking services, including urgent food relief and shelter. Just over one third, that is 37%, requested health and medical care. The famine risk spikes amidst the conflict, COVID-19 and funding gaps. The number of people teetering on the brink of famine has risen from 34 million projected by the beginning of the year to 41 million projected as of June. Without immediate and safe food assistance, they too face starvation as the slightest shock will push them over the cliff into famine conditions. The World Bank released an analysis of rising food insecurity rates in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The report released recently on May 20th, 2021 stated that COVID-19 impacts have led to severe and widespread increases in global food insecurity affecting vulnerable households in almost every country, with impacts expected to continue through 2021 and into 2022. It also states that global food prices increased significantly by 38% since January 2020. The World Economic Forum, which is 155 million people are caught up in food crisis of varying severity, and 133,000 people in Burkina Faso, South Sudan, and Yemen are most at risk. 10 countries account for 2/3 of these facing acute hunger. The resilience of agri-food systems is being eroded by conflict, insecurity, and environmental trends. Join the COVID protection centers. Register now through the link below, which is https://kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now let us understand the powerful cognitions from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism about the food. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on various satsangs stress the importance of taking the right food. He says, you become what you eat. What you eat contributes to what you think. What you think contributes to what you cognize, and what you cognize contributes to who you are. So what you eat directly affects who you are, and that is why I'm making this statement. You become what you eat. What is in your plate matters, because that is going to become you. Violence-based food derived from killing animals and life-negative chemical-based toxic food both harm the system equally. Organic vegetarian food is not just for health. It gives you an inner space, physical system, and physiological flow to develop highest psychology. Not only your physical system, even your physiological flow needs to cooperate. Your brain is constructed for all these higher things. When you don't explore the higher things, you are bound to feed the lower things and keep your brain engaged for survival. If you don't explore the higher dimensions of consciousness, you will force yourself into the drugs and try to explore the hallucination, imaginary, illusory dimensions of the universe. So make vegetarianism as a lifestyle. The human body is naturally designed for vegetarian food. The inner mechanism like feeling, thinking, words, everything is designed to function with vegetarian food. If it is like having a generator which can handle only 220 volts current, or a UPS which can handle only 220 volt current, but if you are given if it is given 20,000 volts current, what will happen? It will get fused. The food without anxiety, the food without anxiety, without fear, without depression, and by memories, if they are consumed by a person, the energy with which they think, and the energy with which they utter the words, and the energy with which they act, the energy with which they feel, everything will be aligned to the natural source of energy, and it will be aligned to the nature, which is the inner potential energy. Now, let us see the Kailasas and Nalayas, how the serving the vegetarian sattvic meals for all, eliminating the hunger. The developmental, economical, social, and medical impacts of malnutrition and famine have a critical impact on the individual, familial, and community, national, ultimately on the global level. With the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic triggering an alarming spike in food insecurity, the United Nations have given warnings of famines of biblical proportions. In 2020 alone, 690 million people were estimated to be pushed into food insecurity. The access and availability to organic food has become of utmost importance. Through Kailasa's Department of Agriculture, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has committed to the distribution of free organic food to everyone, not just since the beginning of his public life, but from his very upbringing itself. Kailasas Annalayas, the food bank estimated all across the globe distributes and serves free vegetarian organic food for people of all castes, creed, religion, race, gender, and social standing. The global services under Kailasa's Department of State, the Red Home, providing relief work for natural man-made calamities, working to eliminate world hunger. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism personally organizing relief efforts and free organic food distribution for all the Thane flood relief in Pondicherry region in 2012. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism says, we will Kailasa. Before you get hungry, food will be ready. Continuous Annadan. I'm not giving you any fantasy. It is already becoming a reality, says the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now, let us see some of the glimpses of the Annadan, continuous Annadan at the various Kailasas de facto spiritual embassies. Now you're seeing the pictures where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism show the early days of Kailasa's spiritual mission, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is offering the Annadan, providing a free organic vegetarian meal on Kartikeya Deepam, which is Tiruvannamalai, India, with pictures were taken way back in 22nd November 2002. And in 2013, even with a fractured hand, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism engaged in selfless work day and night, inspiring the peacekeepers of the sovereign order of Kailasa to engage in selfless service, leading the nation of Kailasa by example. In 2011, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had a multiple compound fracture with the bone protruding out of the skin, and the two steel implants that were fastened, they were removed in 2013 as the bones had healed completely. And this picture is right after that surgery. 3rd January 2012, where you find the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself serving the free food. And you can see some more glimpses from this. You can see some more glimpses. And the Nithyananda Annalaya inauguration in Tiruvannamalai, India. And 9th September 2011. The Arogya Yoga Health Workshop in Tamil Nadu, where you find the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself serving one and all. This picture are taken on 25th November 2005. Nithyananda Purana Meditation Workshop in Salem, India, way back in 2007, where you find the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself serving the meals to the participants, thousands of participants. Now you can see the pictures where the Supreme Pontiff of himself serving the free organic food, the Nithyananda Purana Meditation Workshop, which is at Tiruvannamalai, India, the 20th September 2012. Kartikeya Deepam celebrations, which is Tiruvannamalai, India, 27th November 2012. And the pictures that you're seeing are from the Inner Awakening Meditation Workshop, Tiruvannamalai, India. The pictures were taken 10th May 2017. And the picture that you're seeing are from Kalpataru Meditation Workshop, Tiruvannamalai, India. The pictures were taken 10th April 2017. And the Bandara feast served for respected spiritual leaders and Hindu monks. The pictures are taken on 5th May 2016. And the Kalpataru Meditation Workshop, where lakhs of people attended the free meditation workshop and Ujjain Kumbh Mela and was served the free Sattvic organic meals. This particular picture is taken on 20th April 2016. And Arunachala Sarvagna Peetam, Tiruvannamalai, India, where the continuous Annadan happens. This particular picture is taken on 11th March 2017. And Tiruchengodu Sarvagna Peetam, India, which is 18th August 2019. And the Annadan distributed during the Guru Purnima, the traditional celebration of Guru, the Kailasa in Houston. A picture taken on 6th July 2019. Now you're seeing the picture from Sadashivoham meditation workshop in Adi Kailasa, and the picture taken on 8th December 2016. Annadan service continues in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, Madurai, India, May 30th, 2020. Now, what is the proof of the necessity for the Annadan, the Bengal famine of 1943?
What I found in researching the Bengal famine was that Churchill did several things that greatly aggravated the death toll. India was being used extensively for the war effort. Indian resources, Indian soldiers, and Churchill repeatedly refused to acknowledge the fact that the extent to which India was used could lead to famine.
Viceroy to India, Archibald Wavell, called the Bengal famine one of the greatest disasters to have befallen people under British rule, and said the reputational damage was incalculable. During one government discussion about famine relief, Secretary of State for India Leopold Amery recorded Mr. Churchill saying that any aid sent would be insufficient because Indians bred like rabbits.
What I found
in 1943 to 1944, in the man-made famine of Bengal, as per existing records, 3 million were murdered. The world's biggest empire, controlling 1/3 of mankind, claimed they could not do anything about the people dying of hunger because Hindus bred like rabbits and the famine was their fault. On the other hand, in Ujjain Kumbh Mela in 2016, the peacekeepers of Kailasa served the organic food to over 3 million meals. The peacekeepers of Kailasa, under the leadership of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, have served more than 1 billion free meals in the past 26 years and are determined to end the hunger and poverty in all its forms. Kailasa, with the 200 peacekeepers at any given time, can deliver what even one of the biggest countries could not deliver. Kailasa is not driven by war, fear, or greed. It is an enlightenment-based nation driven by selfless service. In Vedagamas, the source of Hindu scriptures declares Annam Bahukurvita, which means let us produce food in large quantities. Through the widespread distribution and promotion of free, healthy, organic food, Kailasa's global peacekeepers, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, serve such that we may achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture globally. Annadan is the vision to end poverty and hunger in all its forms. So join the Kailasa's COVID Care Production Centers. Register now through the link below, https://kailasa.org/Kailasa Care. On 12th May 2021, Devi revealed that I came as Nija Avatar. I am blessing you. Listen. People, listen. To do good to all of you, I have taken the form of Nithyananda and come down as Nija Avatar. People of India, listen, carefully listen. Time after time, Bharatam is Jnana Bhumi, where the enlightened being comes. We cannot make Jnana Bhumi as infertile. Enlightened beings have to come. They have to live, it has to flower. Few hypocrites, because they are stuck to face the world. Cosmos cannot be destroyed. The ship I did to save the cosmos from being destroyed, that is called Adi Kailasa. The ship I did to protect beings from Pralaya is Adi Kailasa. Because of conspiracy of Drohis and enemies rule, the captain has to leave the ship. And before 12 years, knowing the great deluge that is going to happen, all Aushadas, by this Guru Purnima, that Jnana Rasavadam, Navapashana is going to flower, allow people to come and take dip in Navapashana flower. People, whoever comes and dip in Vaidya Sarovar, they will not have death, they will not have corona. Crores and crores of people will come in line every day, they will take a dip in Anandalingam. On 13th May 2021, listen well to my words. For India, I made ship as protection. The Nithyananda Navapashana Lingam in Vaidya Sarovar, go to Adi Kailasa, O Indians, listen. All those regretting losing Nithyananda Nijavatara without confusion and without talking, just as a lip service, go to Adi Kailasa. On 30th May, they continued that scores of people will come there looking for health, Navapashana water feast and medicine, to get health and protection and enlightenment. To protect India from great destruction, I, Parashakti, made this huge ship. Even if captain is not there, ship is there. When these first world countries closed their borders during a massive global emergency, Kailasa has opened its door to all without exception. And there are various Kailasas free COVID care centers offered across India. The Kailasa rushes to aid India as India surge of COVID-19 third wave. Multiple free COVID care centers opened across India. Various social services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, and the spiritual services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, and cosmic revelations on global pandemic. The free social services offered during the pandemic in de facto spiritual embassies across India, medical care, allopathy, Ayurvedic and Siddha medicine infrastructure to accommodate thousands, and accommodation for multi-layer quarantine and emergency ambulances and ICU on wheels, and personal protective medical equipment, food security management through food banks and organic farming. Join the COVID care protection centers and register now through the link below, https://kailasa.org/kailasa-care. Groceries, and now we'll see for the Annadan, groceries are collected at the Adi Kailasa Sarvajnapeetham. And you can see the glimpses of the Ayurvedic Sattvic vegetarian food distribution. The Adinavasis of Adi Kailasa continued working around the clock in organizing the storage of groceries to accommodate the large number of people arriving for Kailasa's COVID protection initiative. The banana plantain in Adi Kailasa Sarvajnapeetham, a glimpse of self-sustainability lifestyle being cultivated in multi-layered quarantine facilities. The Department of Agriculture mission is to research and implement environmental friendly, sustainable, economy friendly methods of agriculture. The next patch of land was prepared for de-weeding, irrigation and preparing of manure. Now you're seeing the glimpses how the Adinavasis are working in full swing and helping facilitate all the requirements needed to accommodate the hundreds and hundreds of people coming in for protection from COVID-19 pandemic. Now at the Kailasa Department of Health at the Adi Kailasa Sarvajnapeetham, as the third wave of COVID hit the world, the medical and emergency response team raises their preventive measures. Each individual is guided to take at least 11-minute vaporization before meal and receive their supplements. The organic Sattvic meals include a balance of steamed rice cakes, curries and fruits. All items are verified per meal and distributed to different locations in Adi Kailasa campus. Register now through the COVID care production centers through the link below, https:// //kailasa.org/Kailasa care.
Just be alive for next 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashivoham will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
What I mean by the word e-Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is e-Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model communities. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. This is a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going